Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats. But before I get to the introduction for today's guest, I just want to remind everyone that we have our first annual Putts for a Purpose golf outing scheduled. Pine Hills, June 27th. Our mission is to raise over $10,000 for local charities. Now, on to today's guest. He is Jordan Purinton. The kids know him as Mr. P. He is the engineering teacher at Frankfort Schuyler High School, and he has the unique opportunity to have his students for 4 consecutive years. They have to qualify for his program. I'm not going to overhype this. The kids have already done that. They're so excited to hear what Mr. P has to say. So without further ado, Jordan Purinton.
All right, so Mr. P, this is highly anticipated. The kids talk a lot about different teachers, but you're the most consistently brought up teacher in a good way.
Okay, that was my next question.
in our home. And I think, a part of it too is, and we'll get into this, is you have a unique opportunity to spend 4 years with these kids. And we'll get there, but let's backtrack. When did you know you wanted to teach?
So I grew up, my mom's a teacher. So I grew up with the whole having her around all summer, having, every holiday with her, all that stuff. So I knew there was perks to it, but in all honesty, I wanted to do construction.
Okay.
I love to build. I love to create. I'm very mechanical. It plays into what I do now. And I think senior year, maybe junior year, I was in tech class and they would teach us something and then they'd release us to go, apply it in a project. And everybody would turn to me, so now what do we do? And I could 100% go through, here's the steps, here's what we're trying to make, here's the goal, here's how we do it, here's what he just taught us. And I realized, wow, I can do this that I'm doing in class as a career, and I can get summers off, and nobody's going to deny summers off are awesome. But I really do enjoy the moment when the light bulb comes on. And we can talk about that more, but just letting them struggle and letting them struggle and letting them struggle and letting the tears roll almost daily. And it sounds hard, but I enjoy that because when they do get it, they realize they got it.
Yeah.
Not me telling
It's funny that you say that because there's been many lunch conversations with Connor and Philip and all these other kids, and so many teachers just give them the answer. If they go after school for extra support, they just give them the answer. And it was extremely frustrating for these boys.
Yep.
Because they're like, but he won't help us. I'm like, he won't give you the answer. So kudos to you for that, because that's definitely, you're unique in that way.
It's up on my wall in huge black letters, figure it out. And at this point, I just point at the wall and walk away. But no.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's, in our space, it's widely, talked about, just nobody cares, work harder. And, when you get into, if your job is to prepare these kids for the real world, that no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
No one's going to carry your crying.
Right.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So I 100% went the contractor route in my first 2 years at Herkimer. I did construction management and thought, okay, I could do this. Maybe we'll see where this goes. And then I did a summer of putting roofs on houses and carrying shingles up ladders and said, okay, I can't do this. My knees hurt. My shoulders hurt. Everything hurts every day. Yeah. This is not what I want to do. And so then I transferred to SUNY Oswego, where their tech program is just, it's the only one in the state currently, I believe. And followed tech and realized I can do all these things I like to do and teach these kids. And I really enjoyed it. We went to the classroom experience. You got to do 35 hours of observation and instruction, broke up over 2 years. And I was just having so much fun. And it felt comfortable. So I left there and I got a one-on-one position at West Canada while I was looking for a job. And then the librarian came in with a paper, an actual physical paper, and Frankfort was advertising my position. And I applied and I went down and I had 4 interviews. And on the 4th one, Mr. Arena offered me the job, and it was awesome. I was so excited.
Awesome.
So how many years have you been at Frankfort?
I was trying to count on the way here. This is either 18 or 19.
Wow.
And so it's been a bit, and I've moved from that middle school wood shop tech position, and now I do the whole engineering program at the high school.
Okay, let's talk about the program for a minute.
Yeah.
It's accredited.
Yep.
College credit program through RIT, right?
Yep. So it's a Project Lead the Way program. Project Lead the Way is an international program, and there's an accrediting university in every state in the country. So ours just happens to be RIT. So
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a private school, one, in my opinion, one of the top 3 engineering schools in New York. RPI, Clarkson, RIT. And the kids take my class. If they get an 85 in the class at the end of the year, overall average, then they can take the test. They take a test from RIT that I hate because I have no control of. I can't see, I can't grade, I don't get the questions back after.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it just kicks me back a score. So I creep around and look over their shoulders just so I can see what this test is.
Yep.
And it's a college test, even at the freshman level. It's not just, what color is this? Blue.
Right.
It's, okay, how does this color make you feel about this design? You have to apply it. And freshmen especially struggle with, what do you mean this isn't just regurgitate something that I was taught in class? I have to know what I was taught, apply it, and then derive an answer from that application. And it's tough. It really is. It's a challenging test. I average about an 85% pass rate through the 4 courses.
And so they take it every year.
Every year.
Every year
Yep,
they
they'll
have to take it to
4
get the
times.
credits.
Yep. So they can get an 85 and pass the school and get the credits from the school and not get the college credits. And that's okay.
Right.
It's just, it's a college test at a freshman high school level. So it's supposed to be difficult. They don't want everybody to pass.
Right.
So let's talk about, how does a kid get into the program?
So in 8th grade, they have 2 choices. They have to have an 85 in 8th grade math, or they can be accelerated. If they're accelerated, it doesn't matter their average as long as they pass. In 8th grade math, they got to have the 85, and they have to have a recommendation from a teacher.
Okay.
I will take almost any kid if they'll work for me.
Which is awesome, because some kids are not good test takers,
Right.
or that average is not.
I'm not a test taker.
Yeah.
I was never good at it in school. It wasn't my thing. And I get it. I don't like tests. I like projects. I like application. And that's the cool part about engineering. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So they get that 85. They get a recommendation that said this kid will work for you. I take them. They become part of the happy little family. And they start 9th grade together, and they stay together till they graduate.
And so you have kids from other districts that come to Frankfort for this program.
Shared program. Herkimer sends multiple buses a day. At this point, we're down to 2 this year because my freshman class was so large this year, we didn't have any room for Herkimer kids. And my junior class, the one Herkimer student I had left that was stuck with the program, moved to another district, so she couldn't come anymore.
Gotcha.
So they send me 4 for my sophomore class and 2 for my senior class every single day.
We charging them tuition.
That's a Casey. That's a Casey thing. That's numbers.
I feel like there's a money making opportunity here for the district.
I would assume so. I mean, yeah.
I talk a lot about school in general is great at teaching you what to think. And you talk about reading the textbook and then regurgitating on the test, but in the real world, you have to know how to think. And this is your jam from what I can tell. So how do you approach problem solving and pushing these kids to think outside the box?
So one of the first things I teach freshman year is the problem solving process. Everything from, first of all, pick your problem, do your research, become an expert, brainstorm solutions, apply a solution, test your solution, and then rethink your solution to improve it. And we start freshman year with that. First thing they do, first project, first presentation is to redesign a coffee cup. I mean, we all carry these cups around, some of them that burn our hands. You see I have 2 cups inside each other so they don't burn my hand, that spill, that, whatever. Why do they sell 10,000 different coffee cups? Why isn't there just one good one? So they have to rethink the coffee cup, no limitations on cost, no limitations on materials, no limitations on technology. Last year, one told me one was going to float and follow me around all day so I didn't lose it.
Okay.
Right? And it's not wrong.
Sure.
Go develop that and sell that on the market. You're an instant millionaire.
Yeah.
So there's no wrong answer. And I push that all through the 4 years. There's no wrong answer. Part of the problem could be I get to this point and the technology doesn't exist. And now I have a new problem to invent the technology. And then I circle back to my original problem to make the coffee cup follow me around all day. So there's no wrong answer. I love the application. And I tell them freshman year, even if you don't go into STEM, you don't go into engineering, if you come to your boss with, hey, look, here's the problem I had. Here's my idea. And then you come to the same boss with, here's my problem, you go fix it.
Right.
I mean, we all know they're going to be much happier if,
Sure.
okay, we get there's problems, but now you have a solution that you're suggesting to me as the boss. I can say, that's great, do it. Or I can say, let me just tweak this a little bit for you. And that's the boss's job.
Every innovator has been called crazy
Oh, yeah.
at some point. I mean, the easiest example here is, you have in your pocket, I'm assuming you have a cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
We all have in our pocket, access to more information today than Barack Obama did when he took presidency the first term, so it's just wild that how did that happen, right? Steve Jobs was crazy. I also want to know a little bit from a business standpoint. I've heard, you can confirm or deny this, that you do ask for 10% of anything that goes monstrously big.
No, it's similar to that, actually, believe it or not. I make a deal with my freshmen and take it for what it's worth. When one of them does something big, because I'm convinced one of my kids is going to grow up and do something huge, whether it's become an architect and to design a skyscraper or some new technology that's going to revolutionize the world.
Floating coffee cup.
Floating coffee cup.
Yeah.
I just want a black sports car.
Connor
that's
said
right. Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We
Yep.
talked
I messed that
Yeah.
up.
We definitely picked his brain a little bit last
fine.
night.
I
Yeah, for
figured.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need a little bit, and he said like that's your thing.
That's the deal.
Sports car,
Yeah, I
that's
want
right.
you to walk into my classroom and be like, I did it. Chuck me keys and let's go. Let's go for a ride.
Awesome.
So I make that joke with all of them, but there's some of them that are out there doing big things and creating things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got electrical engineers that are rewiring submarines for the Navy. We've got, I don't even know how many civil engineers at this point driving under bridges with 3D scanners that can recreate it on the computer so they don't have to design it and measure cracks and just do wild things.
Yeah.
We've got kids working for Amazon coding the cameras that read the barcodes as 1,000 packages go by a minute, and they end up at the right truck at the end of the conveyor belt. we've got everything in between. We've got biomedical engineers that do it all, and it's all an application of that problem-solving process. Be willing to fail. Be willing to try. Be willing to get so aggravated that you just have to walk away and come back and try again.
Yep.
And try again and try again.
Well, I'm hoping they're all listening and they all chip in, because it sounds like they have enough money now, this collective group, to get you a black sports
I mean,
car.
no joke.
Yeah. And I hope it's my kid that figures this thing out, but we can buy you a car.
So let's talk about your recent project. You did a video board,
Yep. Our second
And-
version.
and that was awesome. I mean, it was. So I attended the board meeting,
Yep.
and the kids presented it, and exactly what you just described with the problem solving and the materials and it was such a great idea. Who came up with the idea for this project?
So 2 years ago, we did one similar in the high school. We had a board up by the office that was one of those, you know how they do a baby announcements where you push all the little letters into the gap? We won't even go there. I did that twice. But we had that board, and it had, the secretary's name, the principal's name, the superintendent's names, and the letters would fall out and they'd be misspelled and they were at the bottom in a pile, and somebody had to unlock it to do it. And it was just old.
Right.
So Mr. Palmer came to me and said, I hate this thing. Can you revamp it? What can the kids do? And by me, he definitely meant the kids.
Right.
And I said, I don't know. And I snapped a picture of it, and he had it taken down maybe a week later. And I showed him the picture the first day and said, it's your job to fix this mess. Go. And I step back. And they pull Mr. Palmer down, and they put him in the middle of a circle, and they just grill him. What do you want? What do you want it to say? What information do you want it to convey? What branding? What open book? 45 minutes of just throw questions at him until he either can't come up with an answer or we run out of time. And then let's go through. That's your information. That's what your client wants. He's vested in this solution. You're going to walk by this solution every time you visit the school, see the school. I mean, some of their kids could come to this school and see this thing that they made. And so they went through this whole problem-solving process, and they developed the one by the high school office, which is a shield, the nights. And they put a TV in it, and it sounds really simple saying it out loud of put a TV in a sheet of plywood that's painted and put some lights behind it.
Right.
But going through, I mean, they came up with 100 different ideas of the shape and then interviewed different classes and brought back information about what the kids wanted. Because they're the stakeholders in this. It's their school.
Sure.
We just work there. So they did this whole thing, and they went through this process, and they presented to the board 2 years ago. And then the elementary school wanted to do the same. He wanted one for there. And there was so many problems along the way. But one of the problems with the first board was, in order to change what was displayed on it, I had to build a 24-hour video that would loop every 24 hours. And it was just, we changed a principal, or we changed a maintenance guy, or we changed a phone number, or whatever. I had to build a 24-hour video, save it to a flash drive, walk up there, take the TV out, plug it into the USB port, load it, and it kept resetting every week or two. I'd have to start it again. So when we started this new one that Mr. Palmer charged the kids with making for the elementary, I said, I'm not doing that. There has to be a better way. And so they added that to their criteria of, this has to be a hands-off thing. This is not me going to it all the time to change the menu, to change the birthdays of the month, to change whatever the elementary school wants to put on it. Because they use it more announcement-based instead of informational-based.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not driving over there. I don't want the little ankle biters running around my feet when I'm doing it. I don't want to step on one. And so that was part of their criteria. And so they went through the whole process again of knowing what we knew and we learned from the first one, which I shared with them, make it better. And so they did the same thing. They brainstormed the ideas. They got a budget from him. They got everything that was in that presentation. Yeah. And they presented to 2 different classes in the middle school saying, what do you guys like? And they knocked it down from 150 ideas to 75. And then they met with a couple other stakeholders and knocked it down and finally got it down to 3. And we made 3 half-scale models of it. And we hung them on the board. And we called Mr. Palmer down and said, here's what we got. What do you think? And then he took a survey to the whole elementary school and surveyed every kid. And some teachers helped with the results and whatnot, but they picked this castle with the little champ stuffed animal up on top, and then the kids had to develop it. And I handed them blank purchase orders and said, you need to order everything now that you'll need for this entire project. This isn't, Mr. P, we need this to go to Lowe's. This is think ahead, plan. What will you need? Every little nut, bolt, screw, TV, plug, cord, microcomputer, everything that they needed. And at the same time, I charged them with updating the old one. So we took it down for a day. We installed a microcomputer in the back. They did whatever coding, which reminds me I have to learn before they leave because I have no idea what they did. They had to fix it. So they did it to the high school board to make sure the technology side of it worked. And then they built that into the one that we hung over at the elementary school.
Yeah. Wow.
And I do have a picture of it, and it is awesome. It's absolutely, and to see just all the smiles on their faces that when Philip, when they unveiled it, like that sense of just accomplishment that they made something concrete and they problem solved and they worked together as a team. It's so important.
Yeah.
Start to finish, how long did that take?
Start September, and a week ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and some of that was, we incorporate some built-in days we do scholarship days. We do, if something happens in real life, we'll pause it and we'll just close the door and say, okay, guys, this happened in real life. Let's talk. Yeah. So I try to have that open relationship and that flexibility built into that class. And it's open-ended. It's one of the scariest ones to teach because I have no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
And I will call it lecture 7 times in the whole class just about the process that they're going to go through. And then I step back.
Yeah. Yeah, and every group of kids is different. Oh yeah, as you know, so it's some probably are easier than others.
Yeah, and to see the kids fall into roles. Like the one kid just will stand up and lead the discussion of, okay, I need your ideas, I need your ideas, I need yours, and another kid will step up and I'm going to build this. I know, I'm comfortable. I've built things with my mom and dad in our house, whatever, and everybody just slides into roles within this group. And then there's one of them that's in charge of the presentation and taking pictures and that whole role as well. And they all just kind of assign themselves to these roles with a little bit of guidance, and they always come up with something cool. Yeah. It's just what project it happens to be that year.
So you talk a lot about relationships. This is a big focus of yours. And a couple of years ago, we went to our oldest son's graduation, and this is a new thing, at least to us, with teachers being on stage and handing diplomas. And I think you did like half the class, right? So clearly, that might be an exaggeration, but overwhelmingly, you were their choice to hand them their diploma, which is awesome, by the way.
It's one of my favorite parts.
So talk about that, with the bond that you develop and the relationship. And I look at you in the little time we've been talking here as like a coach. I think back to, like we feared our coaches when we grew up in the 80s. So it was a little different, but but we feared our coaches, but we respected them, we loved them, and we still have relationships to this day. So talk about relationships with the students.
Yeah, it falls into place. I have them for 4 years straight. I mean, I get them as little scrawny freshmen, some of them really scrawny. And by the time they leave me, they're 18-year-old adults some of them going out into the world, some of them moving away from home. I mean, we go through almost what's got to be 600-ish classes together by the time we're done. And it's just, it naturally falls into place. There still is that level of respect. I'll see them out in public and they still will call me Mr. P, even though I say, as soon as I hand you your diploma, you can call me Jordan. It's okay. And they will not do it.
Jeff Legace is still a coach.
Yeah.
And I'm
for
50
sure.
years old. So
DJ Shepherdson is the BOCES superintendent. I still call him coach.
Yeah.
Because he was in high school, he was coach. So we do develop those relationships. That's part of the 4-year, the part I like about this looping thing is, I see them growing up. I see them maturing. I see them struggling. I see them on their good days. They see me on my bad. I mean, they'll come in some days, the seniors especially, and they'll say, Mr. P's having a bad day. Something didn't go right. The kid's sick, whatever it might be. And they know I'm there. Like we're just, it's part of life. So I do develop those relationships where they're comfortable to come in and tell me, look, Mr. P, something's going on and I just need a minute.
Yeah.
Mr. P, I got to run. If my phone rings, I got to run in the other room and get this. I need to get it. It could be a college calling, or it could be, mom and dad calling, something happened, or whatever is going on. Just tell me.
Yeah.
And it's easier just to tell me than it is to try to hide behind something or put up a false front and fake it to everybody. Because, we all see through it. We've all been there. Call it my big happy family, or I don't call it exactly.
Oh, we've got
we're
that.
close. We got some intel on
big
that.
happy
We'll
ugly
get to it.
family.
My
Yeah,
ugly
yeah.
family. It's okay. I'm the leader of it.
So Frankfort.
Yep.
Frankfort is your school home.
Yep.
West Canada. You grew up in West Canada.
Yep. I live
Still
5
live there.
minutes up the hill. Yep.
And you run a farm.
Yeah. Yep. We've got a 500-acre dairy farm. We milk every morning at 3 o'clock. We milk every night at 4:30. The kids are in this baby project, and I told them I milked for 2 months with my son on my back in a backpack.
Yeah.
And my kids run around the barn. My daughter loves to pet the 1,800-pound bull. She just walks up to his head and rubs his head, and he's good. He might just rub her or toss her every now and then, but it's a whole different ball game. I think I work with my brain here and my body when I'm at home.
Is that just a passion project?
It's a
or-
family project.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my mom and dad started it the year I was
Oh, okay,
born,
so it's a
or the year
family
before
business.
I was
Okay.
born. Yeah, and my brother's a teacher. My mom just retired from teaching and is back substituting because she's crazy. And I'm a teacher, and we milk in the morning. We all go our ways, and we come back and milk in the evening. And it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's so satisfying.
Do you sleep?
Every now and then. That's what coffee's
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't sleep a lot either.
Yeah.
but-
It's overrated.
We'll make the a very difficult turn from farming as pure
To-
and
to
natural.
AI? Are we gonna get into this? Yeah.
We'll just jump right into AI,
Sure.
right? So this thing is steamrolling towards us at speeds I don't think the average person truly understands what the
No.
next few years is going to look like, and we talk about this a lot. To how do we skate to where the puck's going, right? To quote Wayne Gretzky, because this is where it's going. So you're dealing with kids who are tech-minded. They're getting ready to go out into the real world. What are your thoughts on AI and how they can position themselves?
Depends on the topic, I guess, the subject. We're doing a coding robotics thing, and one of the kids was having AI troubleshoot his code. As I said, does that even work? Pretty close. So AI isn't the answer. AI is just another way, the way I view it, of gathering information. So can it tell you where the problem is in your code, and then you have to somehow figure out how to fix it? Does it give you the answers to all the basic worksheets? Sure. Can you hold your phone over a math problem and it shows you the work and the answer now? Sure. It's a tough one in education.
Yeah.
It is. And that's what I was just going to ask. Like some teachers, like, are we encouraging students to use AI? Are we not? Like, that's a sticky thing.
It's very sticky.
Yeah.
And it is very teacher specific.
Mhm.
We have teachers that fully embraced it and are, help it come up with the topic for your paper. Let it help you there.
Sure.
But
Or
don't,
if you struggle with words,
Right.
like a lot of times we'll use it
Yeah.
for interview questions.
We
or
use it for these questions we're
Yeah.
asking you.
because But in a way, like you said, with math problems, if they're just using it to get the answer, then they're not learning
They're
anything.
not learning anything. And then when you don't have AI, because I mean, yeah, we have it in our pocket all the time, but it's not always going to work.
Right.
Like, you're going to pull out your phone, ask AI for your change when you're buying something.
Right.
Right.
So there has to be, and nobody seems to know it at this point, where is this happy medium of use it to help us, but at the same time, don't use it to disable us. We need to be able to still think on our feet. We still need to be able to problem solve. We still need to be able to know how to use it. And then the ethics behind it are a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take a picture of your homework worksheet and it will effectively do it for you.
Right.
So why are we assigning these homework assignments
Mhm.
that or that way? That's why I love the projects.
Yeah.
Sure, it can help you troubleshoot your code, but it can't build the robot yet. It can't figure out where you plug this wire into the cortex that runs the whole thing.
Yeah.
But if it can look at the computer code and say you're missing some punctuation, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah, and this is why what you do is so important, and frankly, why we wanted to have this conversation with you, because the problem solving, the teamwork, the relationship building, all of these soft skills, as we move into this digitally dominated world, are going to serve them well and take them to the next level. Because frankly, this year's graduating class, 20 years from now, will be doing work that we don't even know about.
Yeah,
it doesn't even exist right now.
We don't even know their job titles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So to prepare for half of what their careers are going to be, what you're teaching is preparing them far more than
And
what's
setting
because
them
the
apart.
textbook's going to be outdated.
And setting
Yeah.
them apart from other people, like, GPAs or,
Yeah.
just the
Well,
transcripts,
even just
like it's not.
In the corporate world, when we sit down and interview someone, what did you do that you didn't have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about a time that you struggled and worked through that process, right? I mean, I say all the time, and I'll mess this up, but this year there will be a valedictorian at your high school, and that's a pretty big deal until you look outside of the high school and realize there's like 36,000 valedictorians this year.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah, go to an Ivy League school. They're all valid or salutes.
Right.
They're all. That's the only people
what
that
are
are
you
there.
doing beyond that, that serves you? And so...
Yeah, and that's why we try to get kids involved in clubs, in sports, in jobs, in all that stuff. Just experiences alone. That's what sets you apart. I mean, if I was at college, I'd be looking at these kids' essays more than their transcripts at this point. Like, who is this kid? Like, what have they done in life? What experiences do they have?
Yeah,
Like,
even going back to your farming, right? I mean, if your kids stick with it, to me, how do you judge work ethic? Like, these kids are up at 4 a.m. helping the family before they go to school. Like, that tells me something about this.
Work ethic
So
is
what do you
so
get on
huge.
his math test? I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, show up to work.
Yeah.
We'll teach you the rest.
yeah, and coming back to it, I tell my freshmen, again, my freshmen get the blunt of this because it's their introduction to my chaos. Even if you don't pick engineering, even if you don't pick STEM anything, if you can think on your feet, if you can work hard, if you can problem solve, you'll be successful at anything. I don't care what it is.
100%.
And I love at the beginning of the conversation, you talked about like your passion, building something, and the fact that the future of the teaching profession really is people that are passionate about certain things and going into the schools and helping kids learn. Like just your regular, like, all right, English teacher, math teacher, social studies teacher. That doesn't motivate kids. That doesn't, like, if that's not their passion. So I just love that you went in a direction and our school has this program. And I kind of want to talk about the future of the program and where you think it's going and what you would love to have.
I would love to grow it. I mean, just like any teacher wants to grow their program. I would love to bring more kids from other districts into the building. I would like those kids to take our Englishes, to take our maths, let's bring some high-level kids to Frankfort.
Yeah.
Let's pull them from local schools. And it's a big program. It's an expensive program. Not every school can have it.
Right.
So why can't we pull from just these three schools are right here. We're all within 15 minutes of each other.
Sort of make it a magnet school for kids that are passionate about engineering.
Let's bring our kids and let them take, their English class here, and let's teach them all that stuff that they have to know to send an email so they don't look like a fool.
Yep.
Let's teach them that high-level math that they're going to use in these STEM careers. And that's the difficult part. And I tell the kids the same thing with public education. Like, you've got 30 kids, 25 kids sitting in front of you, and you need to teach a material that 15 will use, 20 will use. Some days 100% of them will use. And you have to do it in a way that keeps all their attention, that keeps them all excited, that keeps them all engaged. And we have some amazing teachers that teach stuff that maybe 50% would find boring, but because of the teacher and the way they deliver it and the way they do it, they're all fully engaged. We have some awesome teachers in Frankfort. We really do.
Good.
Is that what keeps you here?
It's one of the things that keeps me here. I love the people I work with.
Yep.
They're amazing. I love that it's close to home. I love the Valley. I like the values here. I mean, it's where I grew up. It's what I know. But it's the whole thing. It's not. I can't really say it's one thing specific that keeps me here. I just enjoy it. I have a supportive administration. I have awesome teachers. I've worked with a lot of these teachers for 10 plus years. Before that, I was the baby in the building for like 6 years. But like we've synced our curriculum so that we'll teach the same thing at one point in the year to our juniors. They get it in math class, they get it in physics or chem, and then they get it with me. And by the end of the day, they're like, okay, I've gotten this from 3 different teachers, 3 different ways. One of these ways makes sense to me, but the other 2, I have no clue what they're talking about, even though it's the same thing. And the next kid will get it from the other teacher, and the next kid will get it from the third one. And the fact that we've put all our curriculums together, that these topics, some of them line up, is really cool because it makes sense with all the kids. It's just a matter of who they're getting it from.
Yep.
We close with our rapid fire 5. This is going to be, we've been doing these almost 2 years. This is going to be the most fun that we've ever had with this one because we never really do research, but we did last night.
We did.
So,
We did
so we got to
research
get to the
last night.
bottom of some things here. What exactly is Stuff Your Face Tuesday?
Stuff Your Face Tuesday is the day before Thanksgiving break. It's Tuesday. It starts first period. Any of our alumni are welcome to come back, first of all. But any kids in my class, everybody brings something, little, big, anywhere in between. You drop it on the table, and you leave it there. Your class eats, the leftovers stay. The next period comes in, adds to it. They eat, leftovers stay. And it rolls all day long. By the end of 9th period, there's usually 3 or 4 tables in my room covered in food with endless dishes everywhere. And we are calling study halls and calling classes to get kids to come eat. And then we dump everything else to maintenance and the night shift and the cleaners and everybody in administration and whoever will come eat. It's one of my favorite days. There was a teacher at my high school that did it. Mr. L did it. And he didn't care if you were his student or not. If you brought something to share, you're welcome. We could go in and just fill a plate and wander back to wherever you came from. And
It's buffet on steroids.
it is it's has to be a marathon. You can't just eat first period and then be full.
So
It's a
great.
great day. So we have alumni that comes back because they know that's the day. It's always the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and it is Stuff Your Face Tuesday.
I wish I could remember what I sent this year, but every year, like I know that I've been
If you're
sending
watching
something.
on YouTube, Mr. P's face, your whole everything just changed about
Love
you.
Stuff Your Face
You know,
Tuesday.
I mean, like helping the kids and the projects, all great stuff. But Stuff Your Face,
Tuesday.
lit up.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to another thing. Your big, happy, ugly family.
Yep. My group.
Describe that.
They come in as freshmen together. I see them every single day. They all, because their schedule lines up with me, a lot of them track together all day long. They're all strong students. They all do the advanced math or high-level math, science, all of it. So they spend an unbelievable amount of time together. By the time they're seniors, they know every single thing, for better or worse, about each other. They know where their houses are. They know their experiences. They know their dates, exes, every other thing crazy thing you can think of. And Herkimer's been dragged into this. I mean, we had the Herkimer kids come to our graduation. Our kids go to theirs. They go to graduation parties there. Yeah. They will play each other in sports and cheer each other on while they're playing. It is a happy little ugly family.
They're all ugly?
No, I lead it.
Oh, okay.
Just had to get that in there. That'd be a parent phone call.
You're welcome. What time do you start your day?
3:30.
Oof.
Yeah. Love or hate the yearbook?
Right now, hate.
Yep.
Right now, it's busy. It's 182 pages this year. And it's in the beginning, I love it because it's calm. It's just collect some pages. At the end, it's done. We can hand it out and everybody loves it. In the middle, it is just calling parents, chasing down seniors. I mean, trying to get kids to turn in what you need from them to make a yearbook where they're represented and they see the one-off picture that's not the standard profile. getting every sports team represented.
So let me get this straight. You had them create this whole video board, which I don't understand any of it, or how you even go from nothing to that becoming a thing. But you can't step back and just have them figure out this yearbook thing.
Well, because
No
some
comment?
kids don't. Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, it's
One seems easier than the other.
yeah. Well, with the board, it's all seniors and their dedicated time to me.
Yeah.
So they have to be there. I take attendance or I track them down. The yearbook, it's a club. It's
Gotcha.
after school. It's during their
I
free
gotcha.
time. It's getting information from outside of the school and pulling it in. It's
And is every kid represented? And there's a lot.
no
You deal with
misspellings.
Yeah,
and,
it's a
and
lot.
no matter how many times we proof it, and
of
and
course.
Mrs. Cucci, if you know her, is the pro of making checklists,
Mm-hmm.
and I just get a copy. But we make sure that everything is checked 2 times, initialed by 2 different people, checked by a student and 2 teachers. Like, we'll never get it all right.
Yeah,
we never will. Last year we got the yearbook, and there's an X on the front cover.
I remember that,
Like
yeah.
close the window X. I have no idea where this thing came from. I went back into the software to try to figure out where it came from. Did somebody put it in? Did I put it in? Like, what happened? I still don't know where it came from.
X marks the spot. It's unique, man.
I just said it's canceled.
Don't
culture.
spell the school wrong.
No.
That would be, or that could be epic. I don't know.
No, we're not going to.
Jenna still asks me how to spell Schuyler. I'm like, it's your
yeah.
freaking school.
I still
Like,
spell it for the
Good luck with
seniors.
her next year.
I can't wait.
oh my god.
This is the most important one. Are the Buffalo Bills ever going to win a Super Bowl?
I wish, but I mean, let's be honest. Buffalo will burn to the ground if we do. So I don't think they'll ever let it happen.
I do have concerns that we'll lose our identity as a fan base because, like, now what? Who are we if we have a Super Bowl?
Yeah, but anybody who's ever been to that game and parked in the lot with the Mafia, I don't think we could ever lose our true identity, but it will definitely take away a common struggle.
I'll proudly say this on video or audio or however you're listening. I took Connor to the Hammer lot that you referred to. I think he was 13 or 14.
Oh my god.
With, bowling ball shots. Now, he wasn't doing them, but, the bowling ball shots, the
Mustard and ketchup.
the ketchup and mustard.
yeah.
We got pictures with Pinto Ron
Yep.
and and then they start the whole hullabaloo, and it's a wild party right before kickoff. And I looked at my brother, and I'm like, he's going to be so disappointed when he gets to college.
He's doing this with him at like,
Right.
what was he, 8 or 9 years old?
No, he was like 13.
Oh, I think he was younger
We
than
took
that.
our kids for the first time last year. So one of them 3 and one of them, was she 2 at the point? I think she was 2 at the point. We took them. And we didn't go to that lot. We went to, I've got friends out there that always are in the same place with the same huge van painted with Buffalo Bills. And we can tailgate and hang out with their kids. And we had a whole spread for the kids to play on with the AstroTurf, the whole deal. And they still to this day, like, who's our team? And if we ever run into you in Walmart on Sunday morning and you're wearing Bills gear, my kids will scream at you.
Go Bills.
They will scream, "Go Bills!"
Oh, it's so
Go
annoying.
Josh Allen! Squish.
Anytime we travel,
Take-
like,
take
go
the
Bills,
kids.
Squish
go
the
Bills.
fish.
I'm
Take
like,
the kids
yeah,
to-
he will send me an email back, and the ending to his email is
Squish
always
the fish.
Squish the fish or go Bills. And I'm like,
Connor might have got a report card one year with the Go Bills on it.
Definitely did. Hashtag Go Bills is my comment.
Then when the kids get older,
Yep.
take them to Disney, not because I like Disney, but because there's so many people there, and make sure the whole family wears Bill stuff, and all day long you will meet
that's all you
everyone
hear.
at the park. Go Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife worked at Disney for 2 years, so we'll make a lot of appearances there.
okay, so if your family were forced to move out of the state, what would you miss most about Central New York?
I think the seasons, like, we all get sick of winter after a while. Spring is just a muddy mess sometimes, but the change is nice. Like last night when it started ice and
Raining
whatever
frogs.
that mess
We
was.
were at a baseball game.
Oh, I heard about it this morning. The whining today has been unreal.
It was also legit. I was
Yeah.
whining.
Oh, I can imagine.
His fingers were white.
Oh yeah, but just the change from one to the next to the next to the next. Like we were in California over February break, and it's beautiful. We were in wine country. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But then the ground shakes. Like you got to realize there's no perfect spot. If there was a perfect spot, we'd all be there, and it
Yeah.
would be crowded, and then nobody would want to be there anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Northern California is pretty close, though, to the perfect spot.
It was gorgeous. Like we went
We
out.
like grapes.
Well, I was talking to Connor about the seeing the giant sequoias and the redwoods and everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Amazing.
if you've never been there, like the air is so clear.
Different.
And then there's a company there now. I don't know when you guys were there, but that's bottling the air and selling it on Amazon.
Really?
Really?
You can buy a 5-minute supply of redwood air.
That was our family's favorite trip. We started in
2017.
Oregon. We
Yep.
rented a minivan.
Yep.
The kids were the perfect age, and we took 3 weeks and just made it all the way down the coast. And I've got to
From
say, like,
Seattle to Frisco.
yep.
Yeah. My wife's uncle's in San Francisco, or just outside there. And we stayed with him. And then we took some jaunts into wine country. We took a jaunt up and stayed in Eureka.
Yep,
We
that's
did a
where
day.
we stayed.
We did a day on the coast. Like and
Yep.
we spent 5 days out there just to get the lay of it.
Yep.
And we've done that now in California, and my sister's in Texas. We did the same thing there a couple years ago. And it's nice to see the other places, but it's so nice to come home at the
For
end.
sure.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
always nice
is.
to come home. So just for the record, your answer is you would miss the 2 seasons we have here. the 10 months of winter and 2 months
There's
of
a week in between them. Come on.
Yeah.
Jordan Purinton, Mr. P, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
for
us.
having
This was
me.
fun.
Thank you.